So with Fracture, I think that came next after we kind of had the idea for Wonder. It just ended up being that starting point for us. So we had the middle. I just kind of framed it out a little bit with the beginning. And so Fracture is about. It's almost a breakup song, and it gets mistaken a lot for your traditional like broke up with a girl, heartbroken, come back to me type of thing. It's for me, it was actually more of the concept of a spiritual breakup, because it's sort of it opened up the album to, and that was the starting point. So that was the start of the story. It's that sort of separation, that sort of leaving your faith behind and just ditching it and just being like, I don't want this anymore. I'm done with it. It's not really working out. And so I think musically it kind of wrote it in such a way where it was almost transitional from our last EP as well. So it kind of brought in a bit of the element of our musical styling from the old album, but also just provided a continuity into the new direction with the album.
Yeah, it's funny because even though Wonder's like older than Fracture, we actually recorded Fracture before we went out on our tour with As These Burn and Emery and Listener, because we wanted to have something new, because we had put out the EP a couple years before and we hadn't really had anything to kind of give new to people that had never heard of us before, but whatever, just something updated. And so that song was kind of put together and then recorded. And so we've had it as a single for at least a year before we recorded the record. So we did re-record it with the album, but it actually improves to record it here in Las Vegas. And I think for me it's interesting because Fracture is kind of like a song that's like hard for me to. Well, the first two songs specifically, Fracture and Awake, but just the position of the songs just being this like polarization towards God. It was kind of hard for me to like wrap my head around, because it's like, well, I'm not in that place, and this is a song that Chris wrote, and even though I felt like that before, it's there's just a weird dynamic to sing the song. They let me sing, unfortunately.
That was the first song that Josh had
to sing on.
Josh had vocals on.
Yeah. So it was just weird to like sing the parts I sing, where I sing, basically just saying like I don't want to have anything to do with you, God, and so it's just this really interesting setup, just for me learning to like adjust to that, where it's like, okay, I'm not in this place, but we're telling a story, we're relating things to people. So, and I was really happy with how it came out. It's just such a well written song. It kind of falls on the easy listening, kind of somewhat predictable side, but I think it's like kind of it fits that like oh, this is what I expected to sound like, and it's really good. So